All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Workbench, your resource rich weekly podcast and newsletter for local service entrepreneurs. As always, the Workbench is brought to you by Lead Truffle, the number one speed lead system for local business. Today, I'm excited to continue the franchise theme. We've talked to franchisors, we've talked to franchisees, we've talked to small business owners, and today we're going to continue learning about the experience of folks who create a business and then go into franchising it in order to grow. Today, we're joined by Kath Allen, who's the founder of Doggie. They are based in Denver and just this year started franchising and now have 5 active locations and growing. So really excited to dive into the past decade of business growth and then why franchising made sense here in 2025. So Kath, thank you so much for joining. For people who may not be familiar with you or loyalty brands or Doggie for that matter, do you mind telling us just a little bit about yourself and your business?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Brian. Yeah, so I used to be in the corporate world up until almost 10 years ago. And I got the opportunity. My brother called me one day and said, "Hey, how long are you going to do the corporate thing? Are you interested in doing something entrepreneurial? If you create a business plan, I will be your equity partner. Um, but it has to make sense. And I have a feeling it's going to be around dogs because I know you," he said. So I used to live in Italy for 3 years, so that's kind of where I got the hiking bug up in the Dolomites in the Alps. And then I moved to Golden, Colorado, which we're right at the foothills of the Rockies. And so for years and years, my guy and I would hike our dogs up in the foothills before work. And that was absolutely the best part of my day, best part of our dogs' days. And I just kept saying to myself, I bet there's a lot of people just like me who want their dogs to have this enriched life, be well behaved, tired for the rest of the day. And so that's kind of how Hike Doggie was born. And so I launched into that. And just a little bit about Hike Doggie. What we do is we have a mission, and it's to make dogs as happy as they make us. Do you have a dog, Brian?
Yeah, I do. I do. Yep. I'm
Uh,
also a certified dog trainer, little side mission I did before starting my company. So yeah, I
Look at
interned
you.
at a dog training facility in LA. So yeah, I've had some experiences in the dog industry. Yeah.
How cool. So you get
Yeah.
it, as far as loving dogs like
Yeah.
children, like their soulmates. And so I launched Hike Doggy, like I said, 10 years ago, a mobile, home-based, reoccurring weekly model, which was really fun. When I started, I had a Hike Doggy bus out in front of my house. So I actually lived at the franchise model. And then we got another Hike Doggy bus, and that was in front of our house. And then we decided to really prove out the concept. We had franchising in our mind the whole time, but we're like, let's make sure and really prove out the concept. So we went the corporate route. Now here we are 10 years later. I can still remember our first hike, Doggy, but here we are. We surpassed a really big milestone this year. We have hiked 50,000 dogs over the
Wow.
past 10 years. And like anything, if you do it something so often, you get really good at it. But now we have 5 Hike Doggy buses, we call them. We have 20 plus team members who are hikers. We hike over 700 dogs a month in our corporate unit. And then, like I said, a year and a half ago, we launched into franchising after a lot of research. And we started bringing on and awarding franchisees. Excited to have 3 in the Denver metro area. We kind of wanted to keep them close, make sure we could, support them the way we wanted to support them. And then we branched out and we have 2 franchisees, one in Boise and one in near Nashville. So, and then we recently just partnered with Loyalty Brands, which we are super excited about because our values really align and they're very much about, keeping and making happy and successful franchisees. So
Hmm.
we couldn't be more pleased to be a part of
Yeah.
Loyalty Brands.
Yeah. So I've been a customer of a business like yours. When I lived in Santa Monica, I was busy working at TikTok and had a 9 to 5, but I had my dog Harley and she was cooped up
Oh,
in our little apartment. And one day I was taking her for a walk and I saw some cool looking guy in like a beat up car with like 30 dogs in the car. I was like, "What's up, man?" And immediately I just got very good like pack leader energy from him. If you know, like I could tell he was in control. And I was like, "So do you hike
yeah.
these dogs?" I end up talking to him and he's like, long story short, I end up having Harley, my dog, go hike with him twice a week. It was awesome. They were part of like
So great.
yeah, business out here. And then I even tagged along with him one time when I was exploring a career in the
I
pet
love it.
industry. So it's a really interesting business. I think the recurring nature is great. For people, Kath, that maybe don't have a dog or wouldn't really get why you would pay someone to hike your dog. I obviously get it as a dog owner. Can you
Right.
explain the business model a little bit?
Absolutely. So I really looked did a lot of research, and what was missing in the pet industry across the US as far as from a franchise standpoint is really more activities for dogs, right? There's lots of treats and collars and beds and stuff, but it's parents, dog parents feel really guilty. We have to work, we're behind the computers, we have to go to offices, and it's terrible because dogs are in the moment, right? They're like, "What are we doing today?" They wake up every morning high energy and they're like, what are we doing today? So what we do is, again, we make dogs as happy as they make us. And how do we do it? We pick them up in the morning very conveniently from their home. We have big blue buses and they're wrapped with pictures of happy dogs, like with flowers in their hair and sunglasses and scarves and fun stuff like that. Our buses are light blue for a reason because dogs can only see blue, yellow, and shades of gray. So they actually see their ride pull up. And we pick them up in the morning. We get access information at home, so parents conveniently do not have to be home for pickup. And then we take them different than say like a rover or a dog walking situation where they're going around the block or the same neighborhood. We take them up to about an hour outside of the city, really to natural settings. And it doesn't have to be. We have the beautiful mountains, the Rocky Mountains here, but this is happening across the country. Like, you just said in California. So beaches, forests, plains, green spaces, anywhere where there's a natural setting, you can take dogs hiking. And we really wanted to set it up so that it was a model that could be replicated. And safety is a really big part of what we do. It's woven into all of our operations because these are live animals. So what we do is we hike on leash. It's one hiker to four dogs, which is super cool because you're really paying attention to the dogs. You're focusing
I'm
on the
not
dogs.
yeah, and I'm not kidding, Kath. And for our listeners, I went with Ryan on my hiker, and I saw a dude. I swear to God, with 40 dogs. One
It's
dude with it was
it,
crazy. Like,
right.
and he was yelling at the dogs. And listen, I get it. Like, I think
Yeah,
that there's a place not necessarily for positive punishment, but I think sometimes you need to be firm with a big pack of dogs to keep them kind of in control. So I'm not, but it was
right.
crazy watching this dude try and like command this huge,
Oh,
like swear 40 dogs. It was crazy.
and, like, who's having fun? He's not
Yeah,
having fun,
yeah.
the
No,
dogs
he was
aren't having
stressed.
fun, that's
Yeah,
nor are the passerbyers who go
yeah,
past, you
yeah,
know? So for us, yeah, so we definitely wanted this to be replicatable right across you can't just be out in, some piece of property with all those dogs and throwing them in the back of the vehicle.
yeah.
Our Hike Doggy buses, we have what we call Zen dens, we have 12 Zen dens on board, and we call it that because it's a very tranquil ride, lots of heating, air conditioning, lots of airflow, they're facing the same direction. They're not giving each other the hairy eyeball or
Yeah,
bouncing into each other during the ride. And then
yeah.
we hike for a couple hours. And afterwards, we have a shower on board. So we're washing them off. We're leaving the trail
Mm.
at the trail. We serve soup in the wintertime because dogs don't hydrate really well. We serve apple freezies in the summertime, which is applesauce. And really, they like that nice refresher. And then we serve Kongs with treats when they get back into their Zen dens. And then we take tons of pictures and we write parent notes. And then we return the doggies back to their homes following all the parents' instructions. Again, they don't have to be home. And so we pick up early in the morning and we drop off later in the afternoon. So it really is like an all day adventure. They're tired. It helps with a lot of things like, weight loss, with, destructive behavior, boredom, and really it relieves parents' guilt because
Mm.
they're busy all day and they see their dog so happy. And then they see all the pictures and they see the write up and they're like, oh my God, I know what you did today. I know where you went. I know you were hanging out with your buddies, which is another thing too. Parents, especially during COVID, humans weren't talking to each other or getting near each other, and they
Yeah.
certainly weren't allowing the dogs to get to each other. So parents really want their dogs to have friends and have a great life that way. So that's something that we provide too, the socialization. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it makes a ton of sense from a dog owner perspective. Like from a business perspective, I'm curious how you think about this. Like, is it a seasonal business? Like, can you take these dogs out in January in Denver?
Oh, it's great. We hike year round. We hike
Okay.
year round. The only time that we cancel is in the winter, and
Yeah.
it's if the temperatures are just too dangerous to get the dogs out there. If we have some below zero for 2 or 3 days, we probably cancel. I'd say 4 or 5 days a year. But what we do more often is we delay 2 hours, like kids' schools. So that's yeah, and parents really appreciate the fact that we're watching out for the dogs. And
Uh,
also, if there's a blizzard where, something like that where it's dangerous to get the vehicles out there.
And then, yeah, I think another big piece from a business perspective, let's say an investor, an entrepreneur is listening to this. I think it can be a little intimidating to be handling so many dogs, and these are like children to people. Like, how does Hike Doggy handle just the fact that you do have dogs, and maybe a dog's having a bad day, and like things happen. Like, how do you guys handle that aspect of just the fact that they're live animals?
It's a great question, and I get that question quite a bit. Like, how do you know? How do you know that, you
Yeah,
have 4 dogs together? How do you know they're gonna get
yeah,
along?
right,
And we have so many safety, measures built in and processes into every
yeah,
single thing that we do. From We have a call with the parents right up front, first of all. If a parent calls the parents who call us, the parents who have a dog that can't handle being with another dog or perhaps are aggressive, they don't call. They know their dog so well, they're gonna tee him up for success, and they don't wanna put him in a position where they're gonna fail. So we really don't get those calls. The calls that we get are like, "Hey, I'm pregnant. I walk my dog around the block. He's protecting me. His dander's up," or my dog fence fights for the dog around the corner. So when you take that dog out of their regular home situation, and all of a sudden you're out in nature, and we take the precautions, we actually group our dogs by temperament and speed before every hike. And when I say temperament, I like to equate it to I go to a party. I don't love everybody at the party. It's I don't know why, but I just
mm,
don't. And then speed, we want the dogs to get the right amount of exercise. So if we think that, hey, either A, for brand new dogs joining the group, or maybe there's like a pink flag, like, hey, my dog, sometimes he doesn't like other dogs, but I'm not sure why or
hmm,
who.
hmm,
What we'll do is we'll blend the dogs in. So we actually have two hikers, and the first hiker will get the first three out, harness them up, and we're walking around a parking lot of a trailhead. And then we'll bring out the dog that in question, if you will, and then we'll walk side by side with them. And I'll tell you what, there's so much stimuli. They all have to pee and poop, and they have to smell who just passed. So by the time they hit the trail, they're literally just nuzzling each other,
yeah.
like, "Hi, I'm Lulu. Who are you? I'm Storm."
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, my dog Harley, she's not great with other dogs, but she did fine on the hike. I mean, she would get in the trunk with 10, 20 other dogs, and I guess getting out of that, home environment, she
Oh,
typically did she did just fine. So so it sounds like you ran the business for about 10 years, and
yep.
then we're just in Denver for those 10 years, one city.
Ye Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So
So
that was
what yeah, so I'm curious what not to cut you off, but like what led to you guys saying, "All right, let's go ahead and franchise this thing," versus just keep doing it as you were?
Yeah, it really was from the very beginning when we put the model together. We're like, you know what? One hike doggy bus, home-based model, a vehicle that's at home, mobile, convenient service. And we put it together like 12 dogs, 3 hikers. We're
Yeah.
gonna it really screamed franchise right out of the gate. But again, we wanted to make sure we put together a learning management system. We made sure, and by the way, we made all the mistakes. I love when people come to me and they're like, "I love dogs. I love hiking. I'm gonna do this." And I'm like, it took 10 years to trust me, software, figuring it out, logistics, safety, all of those measures. But we put it all together, and we didn't want to go for franchising until we had it down pat. And then once we did know that we were going to pivot to franchising, we spent a year and a half putting together our training system, our learning management system, our support team, our support, and all of that. So we don't really know how to do anything wrong, in the sense of, if we're going to do it, let's do it right. And so we took our time for that. And so we knew coming out of the gate, we are ready to teach people how to do what we do and do
Yeah.
it successfully.
Yeah, makes sense. And now it's about a year or so, maybe into franchising. How's it going? What's working? What's not? How are you finding the right people to carry the torch for the brand? I'm curious how that's all going.
No, it's great, a great question. So when we started with a franchise sales organization because we did not know ho we knew we believed the right ideal franchisee who would do well, the similar
Hmm.
people like ourselves, but we didn't know how to find them. And
Yeah.
so as many podcasts as I listened to, and as much research as I did, I was like, we're not experts at this. We can't be experts at everything." So we had an FSO out of the gate, and then, we actually had our very first franchisee came from within. He was a hiker of ours, and he came specifically to learn how to do the business and then become our first franchisee. And then conversely, our 4th franchisee, they were a client of ours. We hiked their dogs for years and years, and they're like, "Yep, we wanna be a franchisee." So we had that experience, and we really knew that we could do better, and so we actually were very excited when we connected with loyalty brands because
Yeah.
loyalty brands really knows how to do the franchise development piece. And we entered into a partnership and we retain the training and the support because that's
Mm-hmm.
what we know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we let the experts and the people who have been in this business and have experience go and find the franchisees who are a good match to
Yeah.
our model.
Yeah, makes sense. In terms of scaling it out, do you have a goal? Is it 100 locations by 2030? Just taking it one day at a time? Where do you see this hopefully going over the next couple years?
Honestly, the 5-year plan is we hope to have, I would say, 2,000 locations. And I would not say that if we were by ourselves because we realized, we could do it, but it would take a heck of a long time. I'd be way old and gray and not being able
Yeah.
to hike anymore. But
Yeah.
working with John Hewitt and Loyalty Brands, and he's had great success. I mean, amazing
Guest of the
success in the
pod.
franchise.
He came on a
Yeah,
couple weeks ago. Yeah.
I mean, and it's him, it's all the people that, are over there.
Yeah.
They know how to scale. John once said to me, he goes, "Kath, you're not partnering with me to become a better dog hiking company. You're partnering with me to scale this business." And so we're
Yeah.
very excited to be with them.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Kath, anything we didn't get to here that you wanted to cover today?
I'm just super excited. What For us, it's about education because it's a very unique service that we
For sure.
provide.
For
So,
sure. Yeah.
so that's why I appreciate being on the podcast. But
Yeah.
we are looking for franchisees and people who are just absolutely are love dogs, obsessed with dogs, and have had business experience, and we can teach them the rest. And
Yeah.
and then we're just super excited to be doing what we're doing.
Love that. Yeah, as I said, I'm a ABC certified dog trainer. I'm a dog owner. I've been a customer of this business. You know, we work with Cooper Scoopers and Dog Drop and a bunch of dog
I
businesses in
love
my
it.
day job with my software company. So I'm a big fan of the space. Sounds like you have a great business. And Kath, for people that may be interested in franchising with you or connecting with you personally, or just checking out the business, what's the best place for folks to find you?
Absolutely. You wanna go to hikedoggie.com, and that's HIKEDOGGIE.com. We're also on, Instagram at hikedoggie, and obviously, if you go to loyalty brands, you will find Hike Doggie as one of the 9 brands that,
Hmm.
they have under their umbrella.
Makes sense. All right, Kath, appreciate you coming on and hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thank you so much, Brian. Have a great day.